Hi, welcome. My name is Michele and I'm an independent demonstrator with Stamping Up. Now, I have started a little bit earlier today, just by about 2 minutes, and I'm hoping that's okay with everybody. Sorry, I didn't give you pre-warning that I was going ahead with this live today. I've just had way too much on my plate. But anyway, we're going to try to create a card. I'm not feeling the best today. I don't normally suffer from hay fever, but for the last couple of years, I have been getting terrible hay fever. So I'm a little bit heady and a little bit blocked up, but we'll keep going. Now, if this is your first time on here, please jump on and say hello. I love seeing people, new people particularly, jumping on. Say hi, let me know who you are, let me know where you're from. Even let me know if you've ever seen Stamping Up before or not. There's a group of lovely ladies that all follow me, and hopefully they'll be on here today as well to say hello, and it's always great to chat. Now, I will try to keep up with comments. If you do post a comment and I don't answer you straight away, I will answer you in the next couple of days. Now, it may take me a couple of days to do this, as tomorrow my husband and I are heading off to Canberra to visit one of our sons. So I think we'll be leaving fairly early in the morning. Okay then, so let me flip my camera down and let's get started. Okay, so this is one of the stamp sets that I could get in my pre-order. So this will be in the September to December mini catalogue that will be coming out. So you can't order this now. So this is a sneak peek for you. And it's called Night Divine. Now, it is part of a, excuse me, a suite. And that suite is a two stamp bundle suite. So there is actually two bundles, which are stamps and dies, and there is two lots of designer series paper. There's ribbon, there's some elements that you can add, and I'm trying to think what else was in that suite because I can't show you the mini catalogue. Hi Debbie, how are you? Thank you for joining. You've got this one? Yeah, well, I thought I'd play with this tonight, but I'm also going to try to team it up with Radiant Light. So I'm not using the dies. The dies that come with this suite or this particular bundle are a nativity scene, which is fantastic, and I can't wait to play with it, but I didn't want to play with it today. I'm actually going to try to do a card I did when I very first started in Stamping Up, which I've been in Stamping Up now for about 10 to 11 years. So it would have been at least 8 to 10 years ago I did this card. I don't have that card with me anymore, so I'm trying to remember how it was done. And it was a emboss resist, but there were a few different steps in it. So I am probably going to leave out, or I'm not quite sure. I'm hoping this card will come along. Now, I've got this Facebook user here, so hi. I'm not quite sure who you are. I'm not quite sure what's happened with a few months back. There was an issue with Stampin' Up and Facebook, and for some reason, I think people might have lost their permission. So I can't see your name, but thank you for joining me today. If you can let me know your name in your comments, that'd be great. You're in Houston, Texas. But is it still cold over there at the moment? Or your weather starting to, though you'll be going from the hot to the cold, aren't you? So you're probably still hot. We're still cold. Oh, I can't even think today. So I'm going to try to replicate the card that I made many years ago. Now, I'm not quite sure whether this is going to work, but we're going to give it a go. So I'm going to start off by using this stamp, and then we're going to emboss over the top with the candles. Now, that's the idea of it. So let's, fingers crossed, see how we go. So I've already mounted my stamps here. The cardstock I'm using Night of Navy. I'm using one of the designer series papers. This is one of the specialty designer series papers, and it is called Shining Brightly. There are 6 sheets of cardstock in this pack. They are single-sided. Hi, Linny. Raging hot. You're waiting for the cold. Oh, I'm waiting for the hot. We're going to Canberra tomorrow, and I've been told, I don't know whether it was Linny, you told me yesterday, or my husband told me, it's possibly could be snowing. So I've got to take my real heavy jacket that I haven't had a chance to wear yet. Anyway, getting back to this designer series paper, there are 6 pieces in here. They're single-sided. There's 3 in Very Vanilla and 3 in Night of Navy, and they've got different designs on them in gold. So the one I've chosen here is just the gold stars. So I've just made it a little bit smaller than my card front. I will put all my measurements and everything in my blog. Now, that may not happen until Sunday, if not Monday. I've just, with going to Canberra, I've got other things on my mind. Now, I've got a piece of basic white cardstock. I've got another piece of basic white cardstock, which is going to go on the inside of my card. But I've got a piece here, which is just a 1/4 sheet of cardstock. So whether you're using A4 or letter size cardstock, I always cut mine down to a 1/4 sheet, and then I can trim it down or die cut whatever I'm going to use. It's just a really, for me, it's a good workable piece. If I'm wanting to go down smaller, I will then cut it down into an 1/8. It's maybe a little bit wasteful, but I just sort of feel that, yeah, it's something that just works for me. We're going to be using 2 inks, which is, I'm going to team up Boho Blue and Night of Navy. And I've also got Versamark, which I've got here, and I've got clear embossing powder. So we're going to start by stamping off our large sentiment. Hi, Marie. How are you? How's Alberta, Canada? I don't think we saw you last week, Marie, on here. I missed you. Now, I am going to cut this down with a rectangle die, and I'm just trying to think what they're called, the beveled rectangle dies. So I'm just going to stamp in the center here for the moment. Okay, so I'm just going to give that a good press down, just letting that ink adhere to my cardstock. And there we go. Doesn't that look beautiful? I just love this sentiment. And I think mainly because I am a Christian. So I do have a Christian faith. And that makes sometimes the sentiments like this that little bit more meaningful. Hi, Kim. How are you? Thanks for joining today. Give that a bit of a clean off. I tend to leave them to the last, but they're big stamps, and I've just got stamps everywhere, and I'm just as likely to put my hand right in the middle of it if I didn't clean that straight away. Okay, so now hopefully that has dried. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my second stamp here, which is the candles from the Radiant Light. So I'm just going to use those 4 candles there. And I'm going to stamp that hopefully in the middle of my sentiment. Now, of course, this is such a big sentiment and such an important sentiment that you can use it as a standalone. You don't have to stamp over the top of it like I am. But I've got my Versamark on there. Now, I did cut a scrap of paper here, and I'm going to sprinkle my clear embossing powder over the top. So I'm hoping I've got all of that covered. We will see when the magic works whether this is going to all work out for me or not. Okay, now I'm just going to have to plug in my heat gun, so bear with me 1 second. And make a little bit of noise with the heat gun. So I don't know whether you'll be able to see this, but the areas where I've stamped that image should come up shiny once the embossing powder has started to melt. Just going to give this a bit of a heat from the other side because the heat does tend to make cardstock curl. You need rain, Debbie. Where are you? Marie, it is raining far too much. You need some more sunshine. Wasn't that long ago you wanted the rain and probably not so much the sunshine with the bushfires there, Marie. It's a never-ending story, is it? We have the same issues here, and now poor Maui from yesterday. Really, your heart bleeds for everybody, doesn't it? Okay, so I've just got a blending brush here. This is just an old cheapo I bought a long time ago because my other ones, I wonder if I can reach it. Yep, got a Stampin' Up one. Okay, because I've got a little bit more control. I wash mine out, so even though it's got purple in there, I'm hoping that that ink is not going to transfer. Houston, oh, 100 plus for weeks. Oh, I love this sharing. Yeah, Debbie, you send the sun to Marie, and Marie will send you some rain. Oh dear. I just hope it doesn't rain for us tomorrow in Canberra. Okay, I want to take off a little bit of that colour because I just want this to be fairly light. And let's see if we can get this magic to work. Okay, everyone got their fingers crossed? My legs are. So let's go. So I'm just going to start in the middle and I'm just going on this very lightly. Now, the whole idea of this is that hopefully, if I've done this correctly, when I add more colour into this, I just hope I've embossed everything enough. That those candles are going to appear. like they're behind my sentiment. I don't know whether you can see them, but they're starting to. Now, I think what I might do before I put any more, I'm going to put more ink on that because I do want that. Don't know whether you can see. You can just start seeing that coming through. But what I want to do is die cut this down. So I've got my beveled die there. I am just going to trim a little bit off the sides of this because I'm going to try to put this through my mini cut and emboss. So now I've got some excess paper here. So let's just remove some of that. And I want this probably around about a little bit wide, I think. I'll probably take a smidgen more off this side. Hopefully I can get that through our mini cut and emboss. Okay. So there's not much to this card. I've had 7 inches since it started. Well, Debbie, I'll let you and Marie work it out. And I'll let you work out how you're going to get that those rain clouds across. Big lasso might be needed. Lots of prayers. Okay. Let's just see if this is going to fit. Yep. And I've got all that lined up where I want that to go. Oops, I'm putting my fingers into the brush there. And ink. And just have this going through straight. And don't worry about all the crackling. That's all meant to happen. Just means that it's working, which is good. Hi, Glenda. How are you? Oh, I've got a class tonight, and I think that's why I'm sort of feeling a bit under the pump. And I still haven't finished all my prep. I've made 2 cakes. And I've prepped 2 cards. I still have 1 more card to go. And I've got the floors to wash, as my family room floors look disastrous. So, okay, so let's add a bit more colour to this now that we've die cut that. Just going to go back on here and just add bit more. So we've stamped our sentiment first, and then we've done that in Night of Navy, and then we've in clear embossed, which allows the sentiment to come through. Our candle image underneath that. Just taking this brush colour right out to the edges. I want quite a bit of colour there in the middle. Just so then that makes those candles all stand out. And I think I am happy with that. Now, once you've done that, you can grab a tissue or some sort of soft paper or fabric. Just give that a wipe over just to remove any of that excess ink that's sitting on top of that embossing. Let me put my brush there to wash those now. So how about that? Just wanted that little bit extra interest with the sentiment. Yeah, it is a bit of work, Debbie, but look, worst comes to worst, they can put up with my kitchen floors being filthy. They're not going to eat off them. We're just going to stamp off on the card on the dining room table. So, and you got to take me as I come. I'm not a housework person. I'm a crafter. I don't know of many crafters that can also keep a nice clean house. My mother ended up actually buying me a sign, which I've got hanging up in here somewhere, about saying just that. Come to visit me. Don't expect a clean house, but you can expect a good, well-worked craft room. Okay, so we're going to pop our designer series paper onto there. So let me just grab some glue. Pop that there. Now, with my card insert, I'm just thinking that I might grab this stamp here and the boho blue. And I'm going to pop that in the middle. And let's have a look. What other sentiments have we got here? I don't think any of them are going to be really... Okay, what I'm going to do is, here's my big one here. I've got to clean this down first. But I'm going to pick a portion of that. Hopefully I've cleaned that down enough. And I'm looking for my Night of Navy Stamp and Write marker. Okay, he shall be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. I think I want Prince of Peace. So I'm just going to use Stamp and Write marker just to colour in. Of course, you could mask off the other. And I'm just going to, fingers crossed, I've cleaned the other up enough. And we're just using the side of the brush end of nib to, and don't go straight down, use the side of your nib to run the nib across those letters. Now this does dry very quickly, so just go over it a second time just to make sure you've got everywhere, you haven't missed something. Nothing worse, I'm getting half a sentiment. especially when you do all of this work. Okay, cross your fingers again. This is a bit of a just moisture from your breath will hopefully be enough moisture to pick up all that ink again and make it flowy again. Gave it a double puff, and let's see how we go. Hopefully, I cleaned it well enough before, and we'll have no. Probably could have done it a little bit straighter, but I'm happy. I think today I'm doing well. So now we can adhere that. And this is great for someone who doesn't want to write a lot. You'd rather craft than house clean as well? Yeah. My husband says I only clean house when we've got visitors coming. Hence, I don't have many visitors that come. Though I will say, he bought me a new vacuum cleaner the other day because I was complaining, is we've got a vacuum cleaner, which is a really good one. It's an American brand, and it's called Queen. And we've had it for, I don't know, 20 plus years. Well, it has to be about 27 or more years because we got it before my eldest son was born, and he's 27, 28, something like that. But it's heavy, and I've got to lug it all around the house, and it's just too heavy. So he went and bought me a little cheap light one the other week. So now I can just run around with this little one. So I'm vacuuming the house probably twice a week at the moment rather than once a month. Oh dear, I'm not a good housework person. Okay, so let's pop some dimensionals onto the back of that. And I'm going to use black because we are going on tonight in navy, and also too, they were here handy. Mind you guys, I don't live in a completely messy house, so don't get me wrong, I don't have rubbish everywhere. It's just the little things like sweeping a floor and vacuuming the carpet that I just sort of tend to put off to the last minute. Oh, and dusting. I've probably got lots and lots of dust bunnies around the place. Okay. Now, let's see if we can line this up. So I'm just going to use my grid paper and eyeball of this. There you are. Just a really simple card, but by adding that embossing with the clear embossing powder and doing the emboss resist technique, it just gives you a nice effect. It's sort of taking something which you could make quite formal and giving it a real nice casual, sort of less formal look to it. So I hope you've enjoyed watching my video today on that. If you give it a go, please let me know. Dust bunnies equals interpersonal petting zoo. Okay. Glad to like the card, Debbie and Joan. But anyway, that's just a really quick and easy card. I was almost tempted not to coming on today because I just felt so heady. And as I said, I've still got prep work to do for my class tonight. That's okay. This little unorganized bunny will now get in and maybe do one more card for my class tonight and then go and wash some floors. So I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope you can join me again on Tuesday night. Oh, you're glad I came on. Oh, thank you, Marie. It's always great to hear that. Um, and you guys have a lovely weekend. Take care. You too, Debbie. You have a blessed weekend as well. Bye for now. See ya.